everybody, it's Brittany here, and today I will be playing two games. I'll be playing the Pandemic Stimulator and Plague Incorporation. So I'll be talking about how this may or may not be realistic and some things that could be tweaked to make it more realistic. First, we're going to start with Pandemic. We'll go with bacteria. For the name, we'll call it Azula. So, yes, start with North Africa. You can actually see the interconnectivity throughout the world, which I think is really interesting. And to make it more realistic, we should have the option to originate the virus from a specific location. For this, I chose North Africa. So, where you originate is really important, and I think it's important because when choosing your transmission, for example, vector-borne, usually particularly prefer warmer climates just because that's normally where you'll see most of your bugs and stuff like that. I mainly want to stay low. I want to stay to the ground, so I want to stay around what a cold could bring, let's say. I wanted to go unnoticed. This is the main point. I want to infect as many people as possible before I go really severe on the symptoms. I think this would be the most optimal way to kill the whole world. So, yeah. So right now, North Africa is still the only one that has been infected. Pretty slow. Oh, we have an alert. Hospitals around the world have started working on a vaccine for the disease. Not good. I wanted to stay under the radar. It's a little strange, honestly. Yeah. It's around 7,000 infections. I think that's pretty early. So let's check out some of the other things since it's already been caught. As you can see at the bottom, the visibility bar is still quite low, which is interesting. Let's check out some of the other one. You have ataxia. Increases lethality. Oh, wow, the map has shown improvement. That was fast. So, I feel like it's really instrumental to know that you're under the radar. For example, underreporting, such as what happened in China with the coronavirus, it can really change things. Active finding cases, such as looking for it, or passive case findings, also really changes the way, whether it's under the radar or not. So I feel like starting off with slow symptoms, like the same as a cold or every other common viral infection, is the best route to go. So we'll go for kidney failure, maybe, just to bump it up a notch. Alright. So, whoa, we actually have like 66% for the vaccine. I feel like that's really fast. I'm wondering how it's gonna look. Let's go to the world view just for a moment. Let's look at some of the research. 22 total hospitals are working on it. 3% of the population are infected, 2% are dead, 92% are healthy. It's only been 34 days, and the vaccine is almost 70%. Very interesting. So I feel like some of the counts on this are wrong or inaccurate by far, and the mutations are far too fast also. I think mutations happen over time. This is a very short period of time. So just to give you spoilers, because this game is going to be very long, and the vaccine was found very fast. So my tactic did not work on this game. I think maybe for this game I should have gone hard fast, because like as soon as there was around 5,000 people who were infected, the whole world knew about it and was already looking for a vaccine. So if there was anything I would tweak about it, it would be that, and also how long it takes to mutate. For this next video, I'm gonna go in hard because I'm still gonna use my same tactic. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go unnoticed. I'm gonna have symptoms that are not too severe, and if it goes unnoticed for longer periods of time, people will continue to spread it. So we will try to keep it in the same symptoms as the common cold once again. So I'm gonna choose a bacteria, and I'm gonna name him Steve. So for this game, we're gonna drop it over here in China, because I started thinking about it, and maybe the reason that they caught on to it really fast is because it was in an area that didn't necessarily have the most, like, highest population. So I'm gonna do the complete opposite and drop it in China. So something's bound to happen. Like, I don't mean to be cocky or anything, but I'm gonna win. So the core of the two games seem to be the same. The player controls the plague, which has infected patient 0, and the player must infect the whole world and kill them by evolving the plague and adapting various environments. However, there is a time pressure to complete the game before the humans, the opponents in this case, develop a cure for the plague. So this is really interesting because, like Plague Incorporation, the players can choose a bacteria, a virus, or a parasite and name their plague, and although they may have different statistics, they all can develop and become stronger and mutate. So that's interesting. So there's definitely a lot of progress all over Europe. Pretty much it's entirely engulfed in red, and part of South America and Mexico, parts of Africa, not really too many parts, and Australia too. It seems like most of the areas of the world have been hit now. So I'll just take the rest of this time and just talk a little bit about the difference between our values and what that means, and what does that mean when correlating it back to the game. Hopefully this one's a little bit more realistic. So just to talk a little bit about it, there are such things as the R number, or the reproduction number, which is the average rate of secondary cases that will result from an infected person. When no one has it, then everyone is susceptible to it, and this is called the basic reproduction number, or like patient 0, you would say. And this has the maximum reproduction number that you can have. So the effective reproduction number is when someone has had it, but then they've kind of begun to build a resistance against it. So the number of cases that the virus is effective against is actually lessened because people have started to build resistance. When the R, or reproduction number, is above 1, then there is at least one new case that arrives from the sick person. So in other words, doctors will aim for under 1, because this means that the cases are declining. So for the really bad infections such as measles, we want the effective reproduction number to be as little as possible because of its reproduction rate within an unvaccinated population, that would be a really severe case, probably having 6 or 7 different people get infected just off of one person. You gotta remember this also depends on the location and the availability to healthcare and systems, and access to the media as well. So the smaller changes can be used to track a virus. Phylogenetics, to understand the changes within a population in relation to its location, is also a thing. And an important thing to remember is, at its very fastest, a couple years of development for a vaccine is needed. If you're starting from scratch, you need to ensure safety. You need to do testing and do licensing to make sure it's okay for humans, and if they have any other preconceived conditions, to make sure it doesn't like inversely correlate with it or be just a really bad situation. So transmissions isn't contained by borders. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. Yeah, the only condition that I could think of that would really work for this scenario is maybe North Korea, because I know there was like a rumor of somebody who got the coronavirus, and as soon as Kim Jong-un found out, he like sent an assassin to kill him, so they kind of stopped the spread of coronavirus immediately, or so we think, or that's what they told us, one or the other. It's interesting either way. As we're getting towards the end of the game, I just want to take a moment and look over a couple things in our statistics. So let's look at our total population, and let's look at our graph, which is on the next page. So as you can see, it talks a little bit about the healthy, infected, and you can see the infectivity, the severity, and lethality. You can see the cure requirement and research conducted, which is really interesting. You can see all of them pretty much plateau at the beginning and then spike heavily at the end. This is mainly because more and more of the populations were dying, so there was less people to be available to even continue looking for the cure. And for this is exactly what we wanted. So for that, I think that's it for this video. So if you liked it, be sure to like this video and subscribe to me. And thank you for watching, as always.